Alright, a huge shout out to all the awesome folks out there whose presence always makes our hangouts a total blast. And let me double down on that welcome for my brothers and sisters following the channel, the ones smashing that like and share button, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. A special shout out goes to the chillest people around, whose comments constantly light up our channel. But hey, most importantly, putting all the laughs aside, now after that sweet intro with all those rhymes, let's dive straight into the real deal. Last time, guys, we saw the attack on the Kajimori mansion while the twins, who were the actual targets, were right there. Within seconds, the place was swarming with Tsugai. They ambushed the kids, but the youth managed to handle the situation thanks to their powers, and honestly, because the attackers were just a bunch of scrubs. Right in the middle of the chaos, a clue popped up that could lead them to the secret behind the twins' parents' disappearance, but unfortunately, it slipped away. They discovered that someone mysterious is pulling the strings behind this attack, and Jin is highly suspicious that an insider from the clan is the one behind it. As for today's episode, Yuru mentions that the very first time he felt someone's murderous intent toward him was right before his parents fled the village. He was on a hunting trip in the forest with his dad. While his dad was distracted, a bandit snuck up and ambushed him. Of course, Clear's throat, being just a kid, he froze in sheer terror because he had never been in a situation like that before. On top of that, the bandit's eyes were dripping with pure hatred, as if screaming that Yuru had absolutely no right to exist in this world in the first place. Under the crushing weight of that pressure, his body just reacted on instinct, and he stabbed the attacker with the dagger he had. The bandit collapsed to the ground, dead as a doornail, and only then do we see an arrow stuck in his neck. Yuru gets up, completely shell-shocked and dazed, staring at the corpse in horror. Right then, his dad shows up, the one who actually finished off the bandit. He runs over and checks him out, scanning him to make sure he's okay. Once he realizes his son is unharmed and that the blood on his clothes isn't even his, he hugs him tight and apologizes for leaving him alone. Yuru asks him what just happened. His dad answers that he must never forget this feeling because that's the feeling of someone targeting your life. He adds that Yuru will likely feel this way a lot in the future because many people will come after him. He tells him that when he finds himself in this spot again, he mustn't hesitate for even a split second to defend himself. After that, he disposes of the body and goes back to Yuru, who's sitting there dead silent. He tells him that they're gonna crash in the mountains tonight instead of heading back to the village right away. He tells him, chill out, take it easy, take a deep breath and let it out. With every breath you exhale, clear your mind of everything that just went down. He explains to him that he must always keep his cool because he's a hunter, and a single moment can be the difference between life and death. In one moment of hesitation, you can turn from the hunter into the prey. That's why he needs to stay calm, think about his next move, and figure out how to survive any tight spot he gets into. Night falls on our heroes and they roast a small rabbit on the fly. Yuru's dad asks him not to tell the villagers that a bandit attacked him. Yuru asks in total innocence, why? What if his buddies come and attack the village too? We have to warn them. His dad fires back that they won't attack the village, and that's exactly why he shouldn't say a word. When they get back, he needs to act completely normal. It's pretty obvious that his dad knows something or smells a rat. The next day, folks, they head back to the village. As soon as they arrive, a villager calls out to Yuru's dad saying, thank God you guys are back. When you didn't return yesterday, we thought. Yuru's dad, whose name we find out is Minnie, replies that they were busy chasing prey and wandered too far from the village, so they had to camp out. Man, all of this and his name is Minnie. Imagine if his name was large, how crazy would he live anyway? The guy finds it strange how a hunter as skilled as Minnie spent a whole day in the mountains and didn't even bring back a single piece of game. Minnie replies that it's not about skill, it's all about luck. As soon as they hit the house, Danji's mom, named Kyoka, meets them along with Yamaha to check on them. Yamaha tells them, we were worried sick about you guys when you didn't come back. Did something happen up in the mountains or what? Minnie answers that nothing happened and that they just got caught up chasing some game, nothing more. Kyoka gets close to Yuru and says, what's this? Did you get hurt here? Yuru panics, but before he can answer, Minnie cuts in and says that it's just blood from the rabbit they had for dinner. Speaking of dinner, he says they are starving and want to grab breakfast. He asks about his wife, Nagisa, and Asa. When Kyoka lets him know they are inside, he says, in that case, let's all have breakfast together. The two of them walk into the house under highly suspicious and doubtful glares from Yamaha. The moment they step inside, Yuru greets his mom, who is waiting for them anxiously. He puts down his bow and quiver while Minnie goes over to Asa and apologizes for being late. Asa, speaking from behind the cage, asks if they are all right. Yuru answers that they are fine and that he just didn't sleep well, nothing more. However, she notices the anxiety in his voice and tells him, well, just take care of yourself. They sit down and chat in a nice family gathering. Here, Minnie whispers something to Nagisa, and instantly her face completely changes, which the twins notice. Yuru ends his flashback, saying that was the last time he ever saw his parents because they fled the village right after. He used to think they abandoned him and his sister, but he discovered he was actually all alone, and the people of Higashi village had been playing him for a fool for the past 10 years, confirming what Asa was saying as she sat next to him. On top of that, she informs him that she almost died before at the hands of a killer from the village. While Yuru is in shock, Asa says that they left the village and were constantly hunted and targeted the entire time, until the Kagomori clan threw them a lifeline. Just when she thought things were finally cooling down and life was settling down, her mom and dad vanished into thin air without warning. As for last year, the village killers caught up to her, ambushed her, and were dead set on taking her life. Right then, she found herself hovering between life and death and unlocked the power of the Tsugai. She goes on to say that she found herself in a bizarre place, standing on a bridge made of skulls, where she met a strange Tsugai who granted her this power. While she was questioning where she was and whether she was dead or alive, the Tsugai appeared and informed her that she was currently walking the line between life and death. We see a book pulled from a pile of books behind her, telling her the name of that place. Asa then mentions that her dad had told her about the legend of the twins passed down in the village. The Tsugai replies that this legend has been twisted, and that the twins actually unlock their power when they are on the brink of death. Asa puts her hand on her wound and says that the villagers were dead set on killing her. The Tsugai asks her what she's gonna do about it. Is she just gonna accept her fate and die, or is she gonna choose to awaken her power and go get her revenge on the ones who ambushed her? He adds that she will gain massive power enough to take over the world, but in return, a huge number of people will get greedy, trying to exploit her and use her power, and her life might turn into absolute hell. Asa fires back that her life isn't exactly a walk in the park anyway, since her mom and dad were kidnapped. She's being hunted down, and on top of all that, she knows absolutely nothing about her brother. Right then, she asks the Tsugai if Yuru ever made it to this place and awakened his power, or if he even knows where he is. The Tsugai answers that he doesn't know anything about her brother, and that if Yuru were ever on the brink of death, he would go to the place of the seal's power, not here. She collapses to the ground and says she's not giving up now because they left Yuru behind in the village, and she doesn't even know if he's alive or dead. He might have been killed too. That's why she has to go see him and save him. After saying these few words, Asa makes up her mind, and her choice becomes crystal clear to the Tsugai, who tells her to look straight ahead and never look back. At that moment, we see the village killers standing over Asa, whose blood is soaking the entire place. They start wondering what they should do next, especially since she didn't gain the power like the legend says. Right in the middle of their arguing and doubting whether this is the real Asa or just a fake replica made by the Kagomori clan, they conclude that she's dead anyway, and they won't be able to get the power of the right, the solution. But hey, no biggie, because the other twin is still in the village, and they can still get the power of the left, the seal. While they're talking, right at that very second, Asa snaps out of it, breaks free, and well, we don't even need to say what happens to those killers, they are history. On the flip side, Gabu is searching for Asa until her Tsugai guides her to the spot. As soon as she arrives, she finds the killers' corpses scattered around and tells Asa, "There was no need for you to dirty your hands with their blood. Leave the killing to us." Asa fires back that she didn't choose to be born as one of the twins, but from here on out, she's gonna walk her own path by her own choice, and she has absolutely no problem getting her hands bloody. Asa wraps up her words and apologizes to Yuru, saying that his cute, sweet, perfect little sister is gone for good, and the person standing in front of him now is a killer. On the other side, we find Gabu taking the Tsugai that she finished off and burying them, while the rest of the Kagomori clan members were cleaning up the place, wiping away the blood in the aftermath of the battle from the house. Right while they're all wrapped up in their work, they hear Dara's voice calling out to them. They're surprised. Who on earth is coming to call on them this early? The bald guy opens the door and snaps, "Who are you, and what do you want first thing in the morning?" Dara answers back, "Good morning, sir. I'm really sorry for the intrusion, but my name is Dara, and I'm here to take Yuru with me right away." The bald guy immediately reports this to Jin. Jin turns to Yuru and asks him what he wants to do. Right then Yaman goes, "Oh right, we completely forgot about that Dara kid." Yuru checks his thoughts, clears throat for a moment, remembering his sister's words about trusting the Kagomori clan. But then he recalls what Dara and Hana said, that the Kagomori clan is no joke and it's best for him not to get mixed up with them. So he makes his final call and says it's best to hear both sides out before deciding his next move. He tells Jin, since that's the case, let Dara join us and then we'll see what we're gonna do. Jin replies, "Your wish is my command," and tells the bald guy to bring Dara up to them, adding, "And hey, try not to kill anyone this time, alright?" The bald guy tells him he won't kill anyone, and besides, he already apologized for before. Right then Asuma shows up and says to Jin, "Whoa, this mansion is completely turned upside down. Looks like you guys had a long, rough night." Jin lets him know that a bunch of Tsugai users snuck into the mansion and wrecked the place just like he sees. When Asuma goes, "Oh man, I really feel for you guys, honestly," Jin hits him back with a question, asking why nobody saw him helping out during all that attack and chaos. Asuma claims he was fast asleep and didn't hear a single thing. Jin goes, "Right, as if your ears, which can hear a pin drop, wouldn't hear a whole battle raging on." Just at that second, Hagri arrives at the scene and says, "Whoa, did a tornado hit this place while I was asleep or what, you guys?" Jin explains to him that a group of Tsugai users attacked the mansion and their targets were Asa and Yuru. Hagri goes, "Oh wow, so where's Asa now? Is she okay?" Right then, Asa reassures him that she's totally fine. Hagri says, "Alright, so where's the brother then?" As soon as Jin points at Yuru, Hagri congratulates Asa on finally finding her brother. He talks to Yuru and introduces himself, but he gets shocked when he sees Yaman and Shimon staring at him with major caution. So he opens up, and along the way, Hagri apologizes to Jin for not being able to help them because he was wiped out after finishing work and didn't feel a thing. He wonders how on earth the attackers got in while the barrier was up. Jin says they don't know where or exactly when the attackers broke in, but there's no need to sweat it because they're gonna torture. He means interrogate the ones they captured and get the info out of them. Hagri replies that the world just isn't safe anymore. Even the mansion is fair game for attacks now, so they gotta sleep with one eye open. That exact moment, the boss's car pulls up and the boss steps out. He welcomes them, and right behind him, everyone is shocked to see Dara pop up. They're all caught off guard, especially Jin, who asks the boss what Dara is doing with him. The boss answers that since they were heading the same way, he just decided to pick him up and bring him along, especially since Dara claimed to be Yuro's guardian. As soon as Dara greets Yuru, the boss greets him too and says, "So you're Yuru. Finally met you. Welcome aboard." He lets him know that he's the head of the Kagomori clan and his name is Gonzo. While Gonzo is welcoming Yuru, Yaman, and Shimon, Jin was staring at Dara with pure hostility, thinking, what brought the village servant and the liaison between them and the outside world over here? Especially since they're super guarded and have never shown their faces to us even once before. At the same time, Yaman whispers to Yuru, "Is that Dara kid working with the Kagomori clan or what?" Yuru answers that what he's looking at is nothing but an act, and that Jin and Gonzo are just waiting for him to make one wrong move so they can tear Dara to shreds. Yaman goes, "Holy crap, did Dara's clan steal their inheritance or something for them to hate them this much?" Yuru asks Dara about the legend and whether he knew that he'd be able to get the power of the seal if he was put in danger and was on the verge of death. Dara answers that he heard about the legend in the village but doesn't know the gritty details. However, he knows Yuru is a sweet kid who loves his sister, and if anything went down, he would sacrifice himself for her. So, believing that he can just score a new power by putting himself in danger isn't a good idea. Yaman and Shimon back him up, saying there's zero guarantee he'd get the power if he did that, because out of the twins who showed up 400 years ago, one of them died without ever gaining any power. Right at that moment, the vibe flips and the tension gets super thick until Gonzo cuts in and says, "All right, enough talking about this stuff outside the house. Since you guys are starving, it's better if we carry on this chat over some food." He orders the servants to get breakfast ready. So what's gonna happen next? What's the real secret behind the twins' power? Will Yuru manage to unlock the power of the seal or not? And what does this whole mess have to do with the disappearance of Minnie and Nagisa? We'll find out all of this and more in the upcoming episodes. Finally, I'd really love to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to back us up with a like, share, subscription, and hit that notification bell if you're vibing with the content we're putting out. Let us know what you think and drop your predictions down in the comments. See you around and peace out.